Hi, I'm going to pick up right where I left off, and this is just about the end. I guess he likes both of us, sighed Henry, but I don't care. He ran away from you, and I found him. That's right. Just like I said, finders keepers, losers weepers, said Mary Jane. But I raised him from a pup, and my mother and father and kid sister miss him too. But he likes to meet me after school and play with the kids. Henry paused to pet the dog. Then he said slowly, maybe we should let Ribsy decide. Sure, said Scooter. That's a good idea. Don't worry, Henry. He'll choose you. That seems fair enough, agreed the boy. How shall we let him choose? I know, said Scooter. Leave Ribsy where he is, and each of you go 20 squares down the sidewalk in opposite directions. Then, when I say go, you both start calling at the same time. Whichever one Ribsy goes to gets to keep the dog. Okay, agreed Henry. He felt all quivery inside. Sounds fair to me, agreed the boy. Oh, Henry, what if he doesn't choose you? Asked Beezus fearfully. Don't worry, said Mary Jane. He won't want to leave Henry. Scooter held Ribsy by his collar. Henry counted 20 squares down the sidewalk toward his house. The boy walked 20 the other way. They both turned and faced the dog. Henry's mouth felt so dry he was afraid he might not be able to call. Scooter turned to the boy. Say, you don't have any meat or anything in your pockets, do you? He asked suspiciously. No, I don't. Cross my heart. How about you, Henry? Scooter was going to be fair. Henry gulped. Nope, me neither. Okay, we want to make this a fair contest. Good luck, Henry, shouted Beezus. Thanks, said Henry weakly. Here's what it looked like. Scooter turned Ribsy toward the street so he was facing neither Henry nor the strange boy. All right, you guys ready? Set, go. He took his hand off Ribsy's collar. Here, Ribsy, come on, Ribs. At least Henry's voice worked. Here, Dizzy, Dizzy, Dizzy. The dog's former master snapped his fingers. The dog looked at Henry. He looked at the other boy. Then he sat down to scratch behind his left ear with his left hind foot. Ribsy, wailed Henry, come here. Here, Ribsy, here, Ribsy. Come, Dizzy, called the boy. Ribsy stood up and took a few steps toward the boy and wagged his tail. The children groaned. Ribsy, shouted Henry with a sinking feeling in his stomach. Ribsy stopped, turned around, wagged his tail, and said, Woof! Attaboy, Ribsy, shouted Henry. Go on, Ribsy, screamed Beezus. No coaching from the audience, ordered Scooter. Ribsy took a few steps toward Henry. Then he looked back at the other boy. Horse meat, Ribsy, horse meat. Here, Ribsy, here, Ribsy. At the mention of horse meat, Ribsy looked at Henry. Here, Dizzy. Then the boy had an idea. Here, Ribsy, he called. Hey, you're cheating, objected Henry. I'm supposed to call him Ribsy. There wasn't any rule about what we should call him. That's right, Henry, agreed Scooter. Look, he's turning around, shouted Mary Jane. But Ribsy only turned around to chew at a spot near his tail. He bit at the flea, sat down, scratched behind his left ear again, and then stood up. The boys kept on yelling. With a tired sigh, Ribsy sank down on the sidewalk, put his head on his paws, and closed his eyes. The children groaned. Don't go to sleep now, Ribsy, begged Henry, who was so scared his hands felt cold and damp. Ribsy opened his eyes and, without moving his head, turned them first toward the strange boy and then toward Henry. Come on, Ribsy, they both coaxed. Slowly, Ribsy stood up and, after a backward glance at the stranger, trotted 8 squares down the sidewalk toward Henry. He paused, scratched again, and trotted the remaining squares to Henry. Then he sank down with his head on Henry's foot and closed his eyes again. Ribsy had chosen Henry. The children cheered, but Henry couldn't say a word. He knelt and hugged his dog. I knew he'd choose you, Henry, crowed Mary Jane. I just knew it all the time. My, but I was scared for a minute, said Beezus. The other boy looked so disappointed that Henry couldn't help feeling sorry for him. I'm glad Ribsy wants to stay with me, said Henry, but I'm sorry you have to lose him. He's an awfully good dog. I hate to lose him too, but I guess I can't complain. It was a fair contest. The boy threw his leg over his bicycle. Say, do you suppose I'd come over to see him sometimes? Sure, anytime you want. Thanks. I'll be around soon. The boy rode off down the street. The children all crowded around Ribsy to pet him. I sure am lucky, said Henry, but he had me scared for a while. Jeepers, I don't know what this neighborhood would have done without Ribsy, said Beezus. Come on, Now that Ribsy's Henry's for keeps, let's think of something we can all play. Guess there wasn't that much left. I could have finished the whole thing. There's Ribsy and all his friends. Well, that's the end of the book. And the next book is about Ribsy, and there are books about Henry and Ribsy, and there are books about Beezus and Ramona. And as you get older, you can start reading some of those. It was fun. I'll pick another one. Bye bye.